So what is the exact difference when R comes, yes, so we were
So
talking about reading. I mean, before COVID and before I started university, I was also, the same reader as you are. I mean, I used to read a few pages per day, less
mm,
than 10 pages. So,
mm,
and I mean, nowadays I remember, I realized that that was the best reading. I mean, I used to digest whatever I'm reading. So even I do digest what I'm the way I'm reading nowadays. But that enjoyment is no more.
okay, you can't do it anymore.
I
Okay.
mean, that enjoyment, that joy of reading,
Mm,
staying with each and every word that we encounter
mm.
is lost. I mean, with speed reading, I'm
That's what.
unable
That's what.
to.
Speed reading.
Yes.
Mm,
With speed
okay.
reading, I'm unable to, uh, stay with each and every word that I encounter.
Right. That's why I read slowly. I just can't.
It's
It
always
feels like a
better to do
loss.
that.
Yeah. And especially I focus on how uh, that event is expressed, right? Like what exactly are
Exactly.
the emotions involved with the characters, right?
Mm.
So why I do that is because I can also uh, kind of borrow from. Uh, I mean, I can use the same words, right, for different situations, right? So
Right,
in
right,
such
right, right.
situations, to be able to describe reality, right? That's what I want,
Exactly.
like to put
So
into
have you
words.
observed? I mean, I've been doing this since last 4 to 5 years. So whenever I come across a particular author, what I do, if that author is still alive, then what I do, I read his work, or let's say an article or a story. Especially,
Mm,
I'm doing this with story writers and novelists.
mm,
So I read the texts by that author, at least one text, and then I Google it, and I go to YouTube, and listen to his speech,
mm,
the way he speaks. So I
mm.
compare the text that he has written and the way he speaks.
Right.
So yes, I find the correlation. I mean, sometimes what happens, the author is able to write. The author is excellent at writing, but he cannot
Mm.
articulate his opinion when he speaks.
Yes.
Yes, so I mean, they have developed the ability of writing excellently, but they
Yes.
couldn't develop the ability to speak, or public
Yes.
speaking, oratory skills.
Right. Right. So I think most of them just keep to themselves, right, in their
Exactly.
everyday routine, and they just work silently, right? So I think they might not be interacting much with their
Hmm.
family members or with anyone for that matter. So you know how introverted people are, right?
Yes.
They keep to themselves. So it might be part of it might be part of the nature of the work. But then again, it's a matter of choice as well. You know,
Exactly.
you can change that uh, by spending some time, right,
Hmm.
devoting some time every day to interact with other people, right? So
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
improve your
Indeed.
communication skills. Yes, that's
So
a lot of
yes.
learners as well, right? At Clapping or I meet,
Hmm.
they say that I can write well, but I can't speak
Hmm.
well. That's because of lack of practice speaking,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
They might have great vocabulary in their heads, but they
Hmm.
haven't implemented it through speech, right? So
Exactly.
there's that disconnect. There's a disconnect between the linguistic part of the brain and
Hmm.
the socializing part. The part of the brain
Right,
which is
right, right,
responsible
right.
for socializing. So we have to kind of build that neural network, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, it's all about training your neurons to make those connections, right?
Exactly.
And that can be improved through practice. That's what neuroplasticity is all about, right? The
Sorry,
skills.
neuro voice is breaking.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, now it's audible. So you mentioned one term,
Plasticity.
neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity.
Okay, it's a new
I've typed
terminology
it in the
for
chat
me.
box. Yeah. So basically,
Mm.
neuroplasticity is the concept. It's a concept according to which we can train ourselves in new skills through repetition.
Okay.
Through repetition,
Mm.
right? So
Right, right.
I mean, the way we excel in a skill, right,
Mm.
is when that set of neurons gets activated more frequently, right?
Mm.
So, for instance, if you're really good at drawing, right, um,
Okay.
a certain set of neurons are engaged in that, right? It's a network of neurons involved in the brain when we are
Right,
engaged in a
right,
particular
right.
skill, right? So what happens when we don't draw anything for a long time? This network is not activated, right, for a long time. So the neurons neurons would actually look for different other connections, right?
Yes,
Neurons
yes,
always
yes.
seek new networks at all times. So that connection weakens, that network weakens, right, and it gets dissipated over time if you don't practice a
Mm.
skill enough, right? Same thing with language, right? If you don't uh, practice socializing for a long time, same thing will happen to your speaking ability as well, right? And it's
Mm.
actually an observed thing, right? When someone is put in solitary confinement for a long time, uh, they lose their ability to speak. I mean, to some extent, they won't be very articulative, right? It
Indeed, indeed.
happens. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you have to engage yourself speaking to other people. But I guess some people cope though. They talk to themselves. They talk to themselves,
Ah,
and I think
I do that.
I'm one
I
of
do
those
that.
people. I'm
Yes,
one of those
yes.
people.
Same, same. If someone is not, I mean, if I'm alone in a room for more than half an hour, then I start speaking to myself as if there is someone in front
Yes.
of me and I'm talking to that person. And
Right,
I
right,
start
right.
explaining some abstract concepts, ideas, or
Yep.
I start doing that, even in my mother tongue as well,
I
not
think
in
that's how
English.
introverts cope. You know,
Mm.
they talk to themselves constantly.
Yes, that's
So,
good. I mean, that's a good thing to do.
and that's why like it's that's practice is suggested, right? To talk in front of the mirror. A lot of
Mm.
teachers advise their learners to do that. Or what I advise my learners is to record themselves on video, right,
Yes,
and
yes,
speak about
yes.
it. That's actually a better practice because you get
Mm.
to see yourself.
Mm.
I mean, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're all of a sudden conscious about your receding hairline and
Ah.
all the imperfections on your face, right? You're constantly conscious of that.
Yes.
But then
So that's what I have
when
been doing. I've been.
yeah, but then when you put yourself in front of the camera, it's like putting
Mm.
yourself in before an audience, right? And you're speaking to it. So
Right.
that's a better way to train yourself in communication skills, right? Even though I preach this, I don't practice as much. That's another thing. I have to
No,
practice this
no.
myself,
Mm.
yeah. But the point is, you are still talking to yourself, right? So in that way, you can uh, sort of build that network, between that linguistic part of vocabulary and that linguistic part involved in socialization, right?
Right,
So you
right,
can
right.
train your neurons to build that connection and
Yes,
practice
yes.
it over time and strengthen the network. Right.
Right, right. So another question I had on my mind, and that was related to this annoying consonant sound in English language. That is R, uh,
Hmm.
r sound, R.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do native speakers exactly pronounce that sound, and what types of varieties are there considering
That dep-
that particular sound?
I think that depends on the accent. A lot of
Mm.
Americans. Oh, sorry, my chair just I don't know buckled for some reason. Anyway,
Okay.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think Americans tend to pronounce the R's like R, like they say revision, right?
Revision.
So R. They don't
Mm.
pronounce it as R, revision. Or let's say if the R comes in between, right? In the middle of a word, let's say ah, let's say HURLED, a word like this. They'll say it as hurled, maybe, or
Mm.
world,
Oh.
world. I can't do it
Oh.
properly because
Mhm.
I kind of pronounce it as silently, right? I tend to say
World.
world,
Same.
right? That's how we have trained ourselves to
Mm.
speak, right? To pronounce it as R. But Americans, they tend to say it as world. It doesn't come out right. But yeah, um, so it depends on the accent, right? A lot
Mm.
of British accent, they tend to render R silent, right? So they'll say hurled instead of hurled, right? World instead of world, right? And so on,
Mm.
right? But then there are
Interesting.
variations of British accents as well, and
Mhm.
variations of American accent.
So,
You know
I mean,
how dialects work, right?
yes, yes, yes. What is the exact difference when R comes, at the starting point? I mean, of the word, like a revision, and then the another word that you mentioned, whole or
Hmm.
world. Then R is not at the beginning of the word.
Yeah.
So, what is the exact difference? I mean, I was confused about it. I have been
No,
confused.
that's the thing. So Americans, they tend to pronounce the R, right?
Hmm.
They tend to pronounce the R. Whereas British, they tend to make it silent. So world, British would be world. Americans would say it as world, right? I think the
Hmm.
same thing with this word. Um, yeah, this word. Let's see. Americans would say this as
Whoa,
whirlpool, whirlpool, right?
whoa, okay.
It's difficult. British would be
Mm.
whirlpool. They don't pronounce
Mm-hmm.
the R, whirlpool. Just the schwa sound. I don't know what
Tongue,
to call that
tongue.
sound.
The
Ah,
movement of tongue is.
whirlpool.
Mm.
They don't pronounce the R. So that's
Interesting.
what. But then there are variations though. There are
Yes,
some
yes.
British accents where the R is pronounced. Uh,
Hmm.
like for instance, I think Birmingham accent. I don't know if it's Birmingham accent or Irish.
Hmm.
Like there are a lot of dialects which do
Yes, yes, yes.
use the
Dialects
R,
are there.
make use of
Varieties
the R.
of English
Yeah,
are there.
yeah. So that's that.
Interesting. Yes. So, in our demo session, we were talking about, yes, I think there's all certification. So, what is the time period? I mean, 2 months, 3 months.
Oh yeah. I think the actual course MA TESOL is kind
Hmm.
of like 2 years, right? But then
Okay.
Cert TESOL, the course which I did, Cert TESOL,
Yes, yes.
it's kind of like a diploma course. It's kind of like a diploma course,
Okay.
and it's like an abridged version of the course, and
Okay.
they've compressed a lot of things in like 5 weeks. So it's a 5 week course,
Okay.
and it's very hectic. It's very hectic.
Oh.
So yeah.
So,
Um,
I mean, after doing that course, do we have opportunities abroad?
you can teach abroad in countries, a lot of third world countries where English is a second language, right? Not the
Hmm.
first language.
So, I mean, if one is going to do the certification, this particular certification, that's all. So, which language level is expected? Uh, A2 to C2. A1 to A2, this
Something
CFR.
above B1. Something above
Okay,
B1.
at least
B1 and
B1.
above. Yeah.
At least B1 should be his language proficiency. Okay.
Yes.
So have you
So
tested yourself? I mean, have you appeared for these examinations of Cambridge assessment?
I haven't, but
Mm,
according to my certification, I am a level 5 speaker. So I don't know what exactly that means, but
1, 2,
I have to
3,
check that. Level 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so
Maybe
you
something
are
like
at C1, C1.
C1 probably. Yeah.
So it's an advanced level.
Advanced level.
It's an
Yeah.
advanced level, yes. C1 and C2 are advanced level.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
So
so
when
you count from
I,
below A1, A2. Okay. Yeah.
yes,
Now I
yes,
got it.
yes. So that's a journey. I mean, when it comes to non-native speakers, that's a journey, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
When I completed my 10th, I was unable to read properly. I used to pronounce the word island as island.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
Because
mean, that's how
I
it's written,
completed
right?
my.
That's how it's
Yes,
written.
yes. And I
We,
read an
yeah.
interesting fact letter that George Bernard Shaw, G.B. Shaw, an Irish playwright, wanted the English language to be revolutionized just because he wanted that language to be spoken just like we speak
How it's
Sanskrit
written.
language or Indian languages, according to
Uh,
the written format.
okay.
And he
Kind of
had
like syllable
invested.
time.
Yes, he
Yeah.
had invested his own money in order to do that. He was a crazy fellow.
But not sure. Yeah. Hmm. Then what?
Yes, I
Uh,
think the session is almost over.
yeah.
17 minutes. What else? I've booked these sessions for the day after tomorrow, I think, with you.
Okay.
I was unable to book tomorrow session for tomorrow.
Okay.
Hmm.
I see. What are you up to today?
Work. My duty is 3 to 12 a.m.
3 to 12 a.m. Okay.
Mm.
Hmm.
So I'll be
So then, like,
doing
what time do you go to sleep?
uh, usually 2 or 2:30
Okay.
a.m.
And then what
That's
time do you wake
my
up?
uh, 8 8:30 9, or
Okay.
whenever I feel sleepy, and then
Hmm.
till 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
I see. Do you take afternoon naps?
Yes, I do take when my duty is 5 to 2. Otherwise, today I won't take my afternoon nap.
Hmm. Okay.